Shalom, everybody. Before we get started, we're going to face the east and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawadah, Hashem, Yahawadah, Hashem, Macabbees. Double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone for bringing out this truth. And honor to all the brothers that's pushing this truth and still like people to do so. Shalom to the true believers in Yahawadah. Let's return to him during these last days so that he may have mercy on them in the time of judgment. Now, before we get started, let me grab some gloves real quick. So this is a follow-up from yesterday. What was yesterday? January 8th. For the people who see my live, I see I was talking to this Mexican dude for a little minute. Turned out that dude was overly drunk. So that's why he was all over the place. I don't mean to put a situation out there like that. I know he's kind of saying some weird stuff during the conversation. Just in case if anybody was confused what was going on. But that's all I was taking my time being patient with him. But all that being said, we're gonna cover our daily news. Now, as I mentioned before, we got two main prophecies to look for. That's prophesied in the scriptures, and that would be World War III. That'd be the war to destroy America. That would be the day of the Lord. Then we have the MOB, which would be the mark of the B, EAST. Those are two main things to look out for, because all the other end-time prophecies is already happened. There's really nothing else new to happen besides the MOB and besides World War III. Now, the Lord is moving the chess pieces around for both prophecies. Both prophecies are in the works. There's rumors of World War III coming right now, and right now we know that because of the tension that's going on over at the Ukraine border with Russia and America. That stuff's not gonna die down. It's gonna escalate. It's at a point of no return for the tensions over there in Ukraine. Now, a YouTube channel I followed, this white guy, he was sort of breaking down the drama of what's going on. And he was saying that it'll be a miracle if we don't go to war. Pretty much saying it's guaranteed to happen. And he's also saying that it may be a few weeks or just a couple months. But the point is, it's only like 60 to 90 days. So 60 to 90 days, like 2 or 3 months. So in March or the end of March, this thing could really be popping off. This thing could really be popping off by like March or April. It's all on the Lord's time, but just giving, just letting us know how close this is. Then also he said that if we go to war with China, he said if we go to war with Russia, we also gonna go to war with China. He's pretty much said it's gonna be a miracle. He said, what up, bro? Yeah, he said if we go to war with Russia, we're gonna go to war with China. So he said right now, Russia and China, they combining their military tactics and they doing drills together. Pretty much, they practicing as functioning as a unit. Pretty much joining together, and that's what's gonna happen. That's prophesied in the scriptures. because all these countries are going to team up against America. Even America's own allies are going to turn on America, and that's going on right now too, because I believe it's France. They're saying that they should break away from NATO and that they should side with Russia, as far as getting oil and the whole oil gas economy thing. And then also now what we know what's going on now, I don't know how to say it, might be Kazakhstan or whatever, but that's an ally of Russia in a way. And what's going on over there is that the United States is trying to topple their government. The CIA trying to take over Kazakhstan because it's right there next to Russia. Matter of fact, I got a little image I'm gonna show, a breakdown of what's going on. Nah, I just had it. So this Russia and this Ukraine, and what's going on is that America is trying to pull up military bases and missile launch sites around the border of Ukraine and Russia. That's what all the blue men is. There's military bases that the U.S. is trying to establish. So the whole thing with this is when you consider NATO and the European Union. It's a conglomerate of nations. It's a military and economic alliance between America, Europe, a bunch of those white countries over there around Europe, and spread and sort of throughout the Middle East or going eastward. But in those countries that's part of NATO or European Union, America has the jurisdiction to put military bases in those countries. So that's pretty much expanding their military or expanding their strongholds, if you want to call it that. So they got soldiers in positions really all over the world. And the thing that's special about Ukraine, as we see here, is Ukraine used to be part of the former Soviet Union. They're no longer Soviet Union. And what America has been trying to do is to recruit Ukraine as a NATO member. Now there was a treaty signed. I don't think it was signed, but it was a verbal agreement many years ago that the U.S. would not be able to expand their military strongholds over to Ukraine. But now America is trying to recruit Ukraine. And the problem with that is that's right next to Russia. You know, that's America's rival, arch enemy. And then Russia's like, no, you're not doing that. Like, what you doing? You're not going to put your military bases and your missile launch sites right next to my country. That's crossing the line. That would be the equivalent of Russia trying to expand their military and put their military bases at the U.S. Mexico border or at the U.S. Canada border or somewhere in the Caribbean. America be like, no, you too close to our territory. And that's what's going on with Russia. And America is really pushing Putin's and Russia's buttons because as you see, that's not cool. That's like your enemy come move in next door to you or behind you, and y'all be having shootouts and stuff. Because Putin pretty much feel like y'all trying to set this up to where y'all can try to do some slick shit and try to take over the country real quick. Now we're gonna show where this other country at, Kazakhstan or however you say it. because it's also right next to Russia, Kazakhstan, something. Perfect picture. Let me screenshot this. Then we see here, that's where all the stuff going on right now at. The people rebelling against the government, they're having massive riots and protests, and the government is killing their citizens because America is trying to take over this country. So they can also put military bases in this country. So the U.S. is pretty much trying to surround Russia, and that's why Russia is talking about sending troops to Kazakhstan to prevent the takeover of what's going on. They're not gonna give it to you like that in the news, but that's what's going on. There's no coincidence that we got all this drama going on in Ukraine, but the drama is now, which is next to Russia, but you now got this drama in Kazakhstan, which is also next to Russia. It's the same drama, different location, and with Ukraine, Putin has set a red line. He said, on my computer screensaver came on. Putin said that the U.S. is not to cross a red line. There's a certain part of Ukraine that the U.S. is not to cross, because if the U.S. crosses it, Russia is going to be forced to react. Now, I don't know what the red line is. It's just a border, a certain area that the U.S. that the Russia don't want U.S. to cross. Because Putin said if they do, it's going to be war. So that's a breakdown of what's going on over there in Ukraine and why there's drama. And the Russia is not doing nothing wrong. They absolutely right and justified in their reasoning. Because we all know America is the most wicked place in all of creation since the beginning of creation. And it'll never be another place more wicked than this place. And that's all lined in the scriptures. And also, America is highly deceitful, very violent, and very evil. So that's not something you want to be next to anyway. You don't want America's military next to your country, because they always up to no good. Now, we're going to put out a few scriptures. We're going to jump to the book of Obadiah. Because remember, World War III is one of the top prophecies that we must keep an eye out on. Because that prophecy is going to be the prophecy that sparks Yahawadah and the holy angels to return and get their elect out of America. Because that's the very moment that Yahawadah is going to return. Or at least make himself appear to us. Because the holy angels is already here. We know that by all the chariot sightings. And Yahawadah could very well be here. Or he could be on the way. But even when he gets here, he's not to make himself appear until the missiles appear in the sky. And the missiles appearing in the sky is what's going to destroy America. Now we're going to jump to the book of Obadiah. We're going to jump to Isaiah, then back to Obadiah. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus says the Lord concerning Edom, concerning the Edomites, concerning the white race, the white people. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and the rumor is World War III, which would be these scriptures. That's the report. And the rumor concerning Edom, that it's going to be drama in Esau's kingdom. There's going to be drama amongst the Edomites. And this is what it reads. And an ambassador is sent among the heathen. We're the ambassadors. We're the messengers that spreaded this rumor, which would be the talks of World War III. And we're going to show that's what the rumor is. Yep, because we have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. We're going to show what this rumor is. But the rest of the verse reads, arise ye, let us rise up against her in battle. Because it said, let us rise up against her. So it's multiple countries rising up against her. And we know this her is the U.S., America, because it's her, it's referring to Lady Liberty. because America is the only place that portrays itself to be a woman. So this her is Lady Liberty, which is called the Great Whore in the Book of Revelation. Now, if you're gonna show that this rumor is about these white countries going to war with each other, because the U.S. versus Russia, that's just white on white drama. That's white on white crime. They like to say black on black crime, where you got white on white crime. And when white on white crime happen, that's usually death and violence on a global scale. Us, we just killing on our blocks. With them, they be hopping continent to continent, country to country, bringing that drama. So again, thus says the Lord concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. What is this rumor? Let's jump to the Matthew, the 24th chapter. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. That's Obadiah. Thus says the Lord concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. And this rumor is the talks of World War III. Of these two white Edomite superpower countries going at it with each other. And that's what this rumor is. So, but to finish the verse, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the wars and all the rumors that we hear, all that stuff is going to come to pass. You said what, bro? Man, you should come check me out real quick. Yeah. Let me give you my YouTube channel. Oh, bet. See, just to switch services real quick. The fringes is known amongst our people. It's a uniform, like certain gangs wear different colors, or got certain outfits and stuff that they wear, be known by the fringes. Because we was commanded to wear these throughout all our generations. And then Aaron and his sons, they was given priestly robes. So this is what the prophets wore. Now this shows that the truth is spreading. I asked the woman that she was going to come check me out, or could I give her my YouTube? She said she was good, so maybe she don't subscribe to these teachings. Maybe these teachings is not for her, or maybe she already knows what's going on. But the point is, this truth is spread. Yeah, when anybody's presented with this truth, you either gonna accept these teachings or reject these teachings, because that's why Ezekiel it says, whether they hear or forbear, they should know that a prophet been among them. And they're going to know that we the prophets, because everything that we pushing is going to take place. And we see that now. But when people finally see it, it's going to be too late. Now we know what this rumor and these wars is. We're going to jump to... We're going to jump back to the book of Obadiah real quick. Because if you continue to verse 2, it reads, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Now what this is talking about is that the Edomites, the white race, Esau and them, their population is dropping. They are dying off faster than they can give birth. So their death rates exceed their birth rates. So their population dropping. And that's all due to the curses of Cain, because the sun is killing them off. The earth and nature itself is working against them. But the point is, their numbers is decreasing. That's why the Lord said, I have made you small among the heathen. Because, here in America, they call themselves the majority. They call us minorities, and that's really not the case. But eventually, they're going to be the minority, and that's how it's going to be. And also, when we consider NATO and the European Union, it's about somewhere between 20 to 30-something countries that make up that alliance. And America is part of that alliance. And what's going to happen, the alliance of America and its allies it's gonna start off like this. It's gonna get smaller and smaller. All America's partners gonna start leaving them, like we just mentioned about France, and all of America's allies gonna abandon America and side with Russia and China. So if you got Russia and China right here, and you got America right here, they're the same size. Uh, Russia and China gonna get bigger and bigger. America is gonna get smaller. So that's what's another way we can look at the breakdown of the scripture is that on the power scale, America's power is going to decrease as they lose allies. Because when you lose allies, you lose money, you lose military power. Um, Also, it said, thou shalt be greatly despised, because America is being greatly despised. America is now more hated than it's ever been. Everybody in America hates America, and everybody outside of America hates this place. In these different countries, they about fed up with America. And in the next few months, very well, probably this year, those buttons going to get pressed, and those millions of nuclear warheads going to be shot off at America. It's going to destroy America. Now I'm going to jump to Obadiah, I think verse 6. Right. Obadiah verse 6. Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Now this is super deep scripture. The scriptures, it says so many things. And we're going to break it down. We're going to take about 10 minutes and go through this. So it says, all the men of thy confederacy. Who's confederate with America? Who is confederate with this herd in Obadiah? It's NATO, the European Union, all of America's allies. So again, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee to the border. We're going to break down this border in a minute. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. So this is pretty much saying that America is going to be set up. Like when you set up in the street, you usually set up by somebody that's at peace with you. Like your brother, your cousin, a partner, your girl. That's why it says, the men at peace with you have deceived thee. Because when somebody sets you up, they usually set you up for failure. To be killed, to be hurt, to go to jail. And that's what's going on with America. America's allies, the men that are at peace with America, they're going to deceive America and set her up. Because when you set somebody up in the streets, you got to deceive them. You got to lie to them. And they can't know you lying. That's why it says, and they prevailed against thee. Because when you set somebody up, you got to lay the trap. And they can't know that you set them up. You got to succeed in telling your lie. And that's what it means when it says they have prevailed against thee. So again, the men that were at peace with thee, they the European Union, have deceived thee. They set up America and prevailed against America. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So when it says they that eat thy bread, because America is an extension of Europe. A percentage of all the profits here in America go back to Europe. So America has to pay homage or pay tribute to Europe. So that's what it means when it says, those who eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. Now what is this wound? That wound is a trap. And then also, America is the largest dealer of weapons of mass destruction. So America is selling all these other countries these devastating weapons, and Europe is letting it happen. And then eventually, all these different countries that America is selling them to, they gonna not be cool with America no more. And the very weapons they bought from America, they're gonna use against America. So if you go back to the top of this verse, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. And we know now, through the Spirit, that border is that Ukraine-Russian border. They bring in America to that red line that Putin said America is not to cross. Now I'm going to put up that picture again while I read the verse, because it'll make sense when you can see it. Hold on, y'all. Give me 30 seconds. Let me change this brightness, y'all. The sun done got bright on me. So again, the men of thy confederacy have even brought thee to the border. And where all those military bases at, that's the border. So again, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. And again, who is the men of thy confederacy? America's confederacy. That would be NATO and the European Union. So, and what I think this trap is, because let me read the verse again. My bad, I'm fumbling stuff all over the place. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. And what is this setup? Through the Spirit, I believe this setup is the actual expansion of NATO to overtake Ukraine. Because there was an agreement for the U.S. not to recruit Ukraine, but I think NATO and the European Union is using America to start to kick off that drama. Because now you got NATO involved, the European Union is involved in this tension with Russia, and America is already mobilizing their military, going to the border and sending troops over there. So I think what this is that European Union and NATO is they're gonna kick this drama off. Putin to set the red line, don't cross this red line, don't put your military bases there at the border. And when it says the men of the Confederacy have brought these to the border, that's NATO, the European Union. They brought America to this border. You say America, meaning her military. Now, I think what's going to happen as the stuff escalates, the European Union and NATO, they're going to fall back from this drama. They're going to say, no, we're not dealing with it. We're going to call the troops. I think America, she's going to be so full of pride and so amped up and so ready to jump, they're going to continue pushing against that Russia-Ukraine border. And Putin said don't cross that, and then as they push more towards Russia, towards this border, Putin and Russia is going to be forced to react. So again, all the men of thy confederacy, NATO, the European Union, have brought thee even to the border, to the Ukraine-Russia border, to that red line that Putin said not to cross. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. They set up America and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, the European Union, have laid a wound under thee. They already wounded America by America sending all these weapons to everybody. They wounded America by bringing her to the border because the military of Europe and these other countries, they're not at the border. Just the American military is at that border. And then also, when we read this, all the men of that Confederacy have brought thee even to the border. We consider a border is the edge of something. And then when you're standing on the edge, if you make the wrong move, you fall. So this Russia-Ukraine border, that's the edge where America's going to be standing on the border, standing on that edge. America's going to make the wrong move by crossing that red line. And when she makes the wrong move on the edge, she's going to fall. And she's going to fall by Russia and these countries bringing America down by nuking her. And then the very last part of this verse, I'm going to read it again to continue all the way through. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that are at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Because America don't see all this stuff happening. They don't see how they being manipulated and how they was brought to the border. They don't see how them being the largest weapons of mass destruction dealer that all these people could possibly turn on them. They don't see that right now they backed by U.S. or they backed by the NATO and EU, but the NATO and EU could turn on them. They could break away from America. They could leave NATO inside with Russia. They don't see none of that. So that's what's going on here. So that's why it says there is none understanding in him. Now if you continue to the next verse, what does it say? Shall I not in that day, saith Yahawadah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out the mountain of Esau? A mountain goes into a government, to a kingdom, to the people in the high place. So that really means destroy the understanding out the governments of Esau, out the kingdom of Esau. So the stuff, as this stuff is happening, the Lord is destroying the wise men. So the people that's supposed to have foresight for America to overlook what's coming in the near future, dealing with foreign matters in these different countries and the ambassadors, they don't see this stuff coming. It's going to take them by surprise. They just moving forward with their plan, being full of pride, thinking they can take everything by force with their military, which is their sword. They're going to cross that red line. They're going to cross that border that they was brought to. And it's going to be lights out. Now when we jump to the book of Isaiah, I think the 13th chapter, you're going to read this. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amoz, did see. Lift ye up a banner on the high mountain. And this banner is the scriptures. And we lifting up the banner by bringing forth the scriptures. And that's the spirit. That's why the next word says, exalt thy voice unto them. So lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. America is that high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And we in the gates of the nobles here in America. The nobles will be the rulers of the city, and we all throughout within the cities lifting up a banner, lifting up our voice. Now it's cold out here, my nose running. So let me run to the truck real quick and grab some tissue. Give me like 2-3 minutes to give me. All right, I'm all good now. All right, so back to Isaiah 13. Let's continue. I have commanded my sanctified ones. We're the ones that's commanded to lift up the banner on the high mountain and exalt our voices to them and to the gates of the nobles. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. So we are the mighty ones that was called for his anger, to bring forth the prophecies of the future destruction. And we the ones that rejoice in his highness. Now if we continue, the noise of a multitude in the mountains like as a great people. Now a multitude is a great number of people. And in the mountains, that's among the different rulerships of these different kingdoms, the rulers of these different countries. And that's why it says like of a great people, because the government, that's the great people. Those are the people in high places in that nation. So again, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise. That's the noise of confusion, turmoil, just a bunch of drama. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. So let's read this again. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people. The great people being these rulers of these other countries. That's why it says the tumultuous noise, confusion of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So the Lord is bringing all these contenders, all these countries that are going to fight in World War III. The Lord is bringing them all together. That's why you got Israel and Iran. And behind that, you got U.S. and Russia. U.S. is sided with Israel. Russia is sided with Iran. Now you got Ukraine. Ukraine is torn between the two of U.S. and Russia. So it's Kazakhstan. Then you got China in there. Japan, Korea, they all going to be involved. So the Lord mustereth the host of the battle, because it's going to be a great battle taking place, a battle of the kingdoms of these nations. So the rulers of these different countries are going to come together for uh, this final battle. Now let's continue. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. So the host of the battle gonna come from a far country, which is really America. I mean, Russia and all them, they can come from a far place. People from all over coming to one spot. That's what this is going into. From the end of heaven, even the Lord, because the Lord is coming from a far place too. Because the Lord is going to also take part in this World War III. When his destruction is kicked off, he's going to return for the battle. So that's why it says, from the end of heaven, even the Lord. Because he's going to be joined with all these nations when they join together. So even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation, because the weapons of his indignation are going to come from a far country. And what's indignation? That goes in a wrath or anger. So the weapons of his anger, the weapons of his wrath to bring judgment is going to come from a far place. Because wrath is judgment. Because judgment is an action, but pouring out your wrath is also an action. And that's why when we continue, it reads, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So the Lord has weapons that's going to destroy a whole land. Now, what are these weapons? What are people? What is the host of the battle going to use in this final battle? What is all these other countries developing and building up? That would be their nuclear arsenals. They're going to have all these nuclear missiles. Those are the weapons of the Lord's indignation, because they didn't build that stuff on their own. The Lord, the Most High, Yahawadah, gave them the technology and the wisdom to build up those weapons. That's why all these white countries have them, because they all going to use them against each other. The Lord going to have the Edomites destroy themselves, and that's what's going on. Because the weapons of his indignation, the kingdoms, all these different nations, they're going to possess these weapons to destroy the whole land. Now, I don't say to destroy the whole world. It says to destroy the whole land. So that's talking about a specific place. Now, if you go back to Obadiah, it says, let us rise up against her in battle. These weapons is going to destroy her. It's going to destroy the whole land of America. It's not going to destroy the whole world. Like Esau tells you, it's going to destroy America. And this is going to be the great day of the Lord. This is going to be his judgment. And if we continue, it reads, how ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. So the day of the Lord is World War III, when all these different countries decide to take action against each other. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as destruction from the Almighty. So the weapons of his indignation that the kingdoms, that the different nations will have, these different countries, the weapons of his indignations. That's why it says it shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Yeah, man built the weapons, man is causing the destruction, but it's from the Almighty. Meaning
The Lord created the scenario for these countries to have all these nuclear weapons to destroy each other. So again, how ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. So, when you weak, you get real nervous. Your hands get kind of shaky, kind of tingly. And then also it says your heart should melt. And feel like your heart drops to your stomach. That's what's going to happen to the people in this country because they're going to hear them nuclear sirens going off. And that's an eerie sound because they're going to hear the nuclear sirens going off and then it's going to keep going. People will be like, oh, it's the test, it's going to stop. It ain't going to stop. And then they're going to hear the words, this is not a test. That's what they're going to hear eventually. And we can prove that, we're going to jump to the book of Zechariah real quick. I might have got ahead of myself. I think it's in Zephaniah, but I don't know exactly where it's at. I might know. Oh, I found it. Because what did Isaiah 13:7? Every man's hand shall be weak, and every man's heart shall faint. Well, why is that? Because the great day of the Lord, let's read it. Zephaniah 1:14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and it hasteneth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Now, if you continue, that day is the day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. So this day, speaking of the nuclear destruction, the sky gonna go black. There's gonna be so much dust and smoke just in the air from all these millions of missiles being shot off. Now, if you continue, it says a day of the trumpet, because that's what people say in the Christian church. Oh, when them trumpets sound, I'm gonna receive salvation. But again, a day of the trumpet, and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. What did we just say? Those nuclear sirens gonna be going off. A siren is another word for alarm. So those nuclear alarms gonna be going off in all the land. What up, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Man, not much. You doing all right?
Oh yeah, man.
Forgive me, y'all. So when they hear these nuclear sirens, that's what's gonna make every man's heart, make every man's hands be weak, and make every man's heart faint. Because they verse 3 gonna come to pass, and then they're gonna hear the broadcast on the radio station, and then they're gonna hear that nuclear missiles been fired at these cities. It's gonna hit in 30 minutes. People ain't gonna have time to react or escape. So again, a day of trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Now, when we jump back to Isaiah 13, that's why it says, we'll say a day of trumpet and a day of alarms in the fenced cities. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. They're going to be afraid. People are going to be afraid. Hearing that nuclear missiles been fired at these cities. And then they're going to update it every 5 minutes, adding more and more cities to that list. Before you know it, there's going to be down there be a missile fired in every state, in every city. Pains and sorrow shall take hold of them. And pains and sorrow, think about birth pains. Before a woman gives birth, she in great distress. That's really a dreadful moment. And sorrows, great fear. They shall be afraid, pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. Now I don't know what this word travaileth means. Let me see real quick. Childbirth, distress, to bear, to bring forth. So they're gonna be in pain as a woman that travaileth. And that's why if you continue, it says they shall be amazed one at another. And why the people gonna be amazed? Let's see. Their faces shall be as flames. So the people are all gonna be destroyed in this nuclear destruction. They all gonna see each other getting burnt up. They all gonna see each other on fire, burning from the outside in and from the inside out. They're gonna see each other being burnt to the bone. And the explosion happens quickly. So in the nuclear explosion, once the explosion go off, you ain't got no time to have no thoughts or got no time to look around or really got no time to process what's going on. But if you've seen Terminator 2, when Sarah Connor was burning on the fence, the Lord is going to slow it down like he did in that scene. And that's why that scene is so spiritual, because the Lord is going to slow down his destruction. It's not going to just happen in a few milliseconds. The Lord going to take them few milliseconds out and going to stretch it for what seemed like forever. So again, and they shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. So everybody going to see the flames just devouring each other. And that's going to be destruction from the Almighty, from the weapons of his indignation, from the host that he gathering together for this battle. That's going to be the result of this battle. This whole land be destroyed by the weapons of his indignation, which will be the nuclear missiles. That's why Zephaniah 1 and 14 said, it shall be a day of trumpet and alarms in the fenced cities. Every man's hand shall be faint, and every man's heart shall melt from those alarms. And they shall be amazed one another, and their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So the Lord, again, he's coming. The day of the Lord is not a good day. Everybody is nervous for this day. Even the hopeful elect, we fear this day because there's nothing good about it. That's why Zephaniah chapter 1 said it's the day of darkness, gloominess, desolation, wasteness, destruction, dark clouds. Pretty much ain't nothing good about it. But that's why it says here the day the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath, and not just anger, with fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. Not to lay the whole world desolate, but a specific land, a specific country. And to be more specific, this is North America. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Because he's not coming to destroy the world. He's not coming to destroy the actual earth. He's coming to destroy the sinners out of America. With the sinners going back to the Edomites, the white race, and everybody that's joined to them. And you are joined to them by following the ways of America. Calling yourself Mexican, Negro, colored, following their customs and traditions, their holidays, following their dietary laws, white Jesus, Christianity. That's how you joined into the white man. But that's why Revelation 18, it says, we're going to jump there real quick. You go to Revelation 18:4, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. So he commanded to come out of this place, come out of following the white man, the Edomites, American society, so that we don't take part in her sins, so that we don't receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven. This is saying her again. Who is this her? This her is Lady Liberty, the great whore. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So the Most High Yahawadah, he not a forgive and forget kind of God. That's not how he do business. So that's why it says, God hath remembered her iniquities. And then if we jump down to verse 7, it talks about the pride and how proud American is. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously and lived luxuriously. Is what that also means. So much torment and sorrow give her. So how rich and deliciously and comfortably she lives, torment her just as much. Therefore just as much pain and suffering. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Meaning that she'll never fall, that she'll never lose a battle, that she's going to be in power forever. That's the pride of America. Here goes the Lord's response. Therefore, shall her plagues come in one day, meaning all of a sudden. They're going to just pop out like the blue. Therefore, shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. Utterly means completely. This place is going to be completely burnt with fire. There's going to be nowhere you can hide. You're not going to be able to hide underground, an underground bunker. You're not going to be able to hide underneath the water, in the lake, in the submarine in Lake Michigan. All this is going to be evaporated. Nah, I got another bad verse I want to look up real quick. Forgive me 1 second. Nose running again. So just like I said, the plagues will come in one day, meaning all of a sudden. That's why the scripture said the Lord's going to come like a thief in the night. Because people are not going to see it coming. But us in the truth, we're going to see it coming. And we do because we occupied in prophecy like the scripture said to be. But those that's not in the truth, they're not looking. They don't know that World War III is going to be the final prophecy. They don't know that that the roars and the rumors of wars is going to take place. And because none of this stuff is in the news, it seems like this will be all over the news. But they got this pandemic and all these mandates all over the news to cover up what's really going on. So that's why nobody going to see this day coming. And that's why to those who not in this truth, the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night. But to us, we're not going to be taken by surprise. That's why if we go to 2 Peter 3:10, it reads, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. So when it says the heavens is going to pass away, Christianity can't break this down. This don't mean that the heavens going to be destroyed or that the actual spiritual world, that the throne of heaven is going to be destroyed or pass away. Heavens goes into rulership. It goes into a kingdom. Because when when you're ruling, you're in a high place. So this talking about the heavens and the earth. So the people who's in rule here on the earth. So again, for the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. So this kingdom, this rulership in America is going to pass away, be done away with. It's going to be destroyed with a great noise. And that great noise is going to be World War III and this nuclear destruction that's going to happen in America. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works therein shall be burnt up. So the elements is gonna melt with fervent heat. Now let's look up this word real quick. So the Lord is gonna cause this place to burn with fire. So that's why we said the elements gonna melt with fervent heat. You're not gonna be able to hide nowhere. The ground, the water, you can't hide in the water to hide from the fire. All that stuff is gonna melt. It's gonna evaporate. In some of the scriptures, it says something like the elements of melt. So stuff is going to melt. It's going to dissolve. So that's a little bit of the scriptures pertaining to the prophecy of World War III. And we're going to do another thing real quick. We're gonna see what's in the news. So this was 7 minutes ago. No compromises, no breakthroughs. Russia and U.S. cast pause on Ukraine talks. So again, no compromises. So the Russia and U.S. they're not gonna see eye to eye on this. This not gonna die down. 35 minutes ago, Russia warns U.S. over Ukraine. Russia warns that the U.S. doesn't understand its goal on Ukraine. So again, 35 minutes ago, Russia warning the U.S. 3 hours ago, U.S. Russia signaled pessimism ahead of Ukraine talks. And 3 hours ago, this big. This is what we were saying. U.S. NATO reject Russia's request not to bring Ukraine into the alliance because Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union. That split up. Now NATO and America is trying to recruit Ukraine as a member so they can put their military bases there. And Russia asked them not to do this, but NATO and the U.S. rejected Russia's request not to bring Ukraine into the alliance. Also 3 hours ago, U.S. warns Russia of risk of confrontation ahead of Ukraine talks. So this World War III is going to pop off. There's no backing down. Damn. Okay, so this is 6 hours ago. Russia criticized U.S. You have 300 years of dirty history. And that lines up in the scriptures. So again, Russia criticized U.S. You have 300 years of dirty history. So like we said, Russia don't want U.S. having military bases nowhere near around them. That's why they don't want them to recruit Ukraine. Russia want nothing to do with this place. What did Obadiah verse 2 say? You shall be greatly despised. Everybody looking down on this place. America has done nothing good within America or outside of America. No, everybody hates this place. Nobody wants nothing to do with this place. what did Biden or somebody said 7 hours ago? Blinken warns Russia of massive consequences over Ukraine aggression. So the very last prophecy, just spark the return of our Lord Yahawadah, is in the works right now. People don't understand this. This very well may be the last year. This may be the last year. And though missiles might be coming this spring, this summer, or this fall, guess what? Summer like 5-6 months away. So that's 130, 150, 180 days. So much can happen in 180 days. And 3 months from now is only 90 days. Imagine how much stuff can escalate in less than 90 days. Stuff's not going to escalate forever. Right now, stuff is being gradual, but eventually it's not going to be gradual. It's just going to be a critical increase in this tension. It's going to spike. It's going to spike like the blood pressure of the people here in America because they're breaking the dietary laws. So one day it ain't gonna be no talks no more. People gonna be taking action, and that's the very last prophecy to spark the return of our Lord Yahawadah. And the only prophecy besides that would be the microchip. They're gonna mandate that. That's why all these mandates is happening. It's getting you accustomed to hear this word mandate. So when they mandate the microchip, oh no, thank you, I'm all good. I sure appreciate it though. And that's why this drink, that needle that they're trying to poke you in the arm with, that's why it's so much stuff going on about that. People saying, is that the MOB? But it's being treated like the MOB, but it's being treated like it because it's leading up to the microchip. And I'm doing a lesson right now showing that drink is not the it's not the MOB, but it's a form of receiving the beast mark. Because when you read Revelation 3:17, I'm gonna read that real quick. We read Revelation the 13th chapter. That's the book of mandates, the chapter of mandates. All the way down is mandates. So let me get it on my phone. So when we read Revelation 13th chapter, and he calls it all, that's a mandate. And he causes all, both small, great, rich, and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads. We know that's the microchip, that's the MOB. And that without this MOB, without this microchip, you won't be able to buy or sell. But that's not the only thing that's going to allow you to buy or sell or to function in this new world order, in this new digital beast system. Because let's read verse 17. And this is probably, this has got to be one of the most important verses in this chapter. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. That's the MOB. That's a microchip. We can all agree on that. But if we continue, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So not only will you not be able to buy or sell if you don't got the mark, but if you don't got the name of the beast or the number of his name, you also won't be able to sell. So for example, the microchip is not the only thing that's going to allow you to buy or sell. Because let's say you get the microchip, the MOB, but you don't get the name of the beast or the number of his name. Even if you do got the microchip, you still won't be able to buy or sell because you need all three. And you're going to get all three of these different marks from these mandates because they're all going to be mandated. And they're not going to just come out in the open and say you got to get the name of the beast on you or the number of his name. it's going to be in the form of something else. And that something else is this drink, the VAX, that liquid needle that they're trying to hit you with. Because when you get that, you get the name of the beast and you get the number of his name. You get both of those in one needle. So those who, when they got this drink already, they already got the name of the beast and the number of his name. And the number of his name, that would be the UPC number and the barcode. That's why people who took it already, they have a barcode at their injection site. And also would be that altered DNA, because your DNA is your name on a molecular level. So you got that synthetic DNA that they put up in you that the beast created. So that's the name of the beast. And those going to come from these different mandates. It's all leading up to the MOB. So the MOB, that mandate, in World War III, those are two final prophecies before Yahawadah returns, and that America is destroyed. And those are two things we got to look out for on the daily. Because now they saying that you could detect the C-19 on a microchip. This is leading up to bring forth the microchip. And then the microchip will also read your vitals. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, how you're breathing. If you got any other illnesses. So that's why so those are two things that we got to wait for. And the drink is already on its way to being mandated. The drink and the MOB, I believe it's going to be mandated at the same time. As soon as they fully mandate the drink, I think the microchip MOB already going to be out on the table. So those are three things we got to look out for. And then I'm going to close out with Amos. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor thirst for water, but the fearing of the words of Yahweh. And it don't mean that the Bible is going to go missing like in the book of Ezekiel, but there's going to be no way to find the correct teachings of this Bible. So like we're not going to be in the public's eye. We're not going to be doing lessons on YouTube no more because they're going to crash this digital system that we have now, which will be the internet, so they can bring in the new 5G digital system. And then they're going to crash. They're going to pull this truth down. We're going to be demonized for bringing out this truth. They're going to say it's hate speech. They're already saying we are identity extremist group. You're not going to be able to find these teachings anywhere. You ain't going to be able to find this truth nowhere on the internet. Then the internet going to be pulled down. So it's going to be a famine of hearing these words. And they shall wander from sea to sea and from north even to east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh and shall not find it. Because as we get closer and closer to these prophecies, this truth is going to be pulled back. Because this truth is a warning. But you don't give a warning forever. Eventually, before the stuff take place, you stop warning the people. So when this truth is taken down, that's the Lord not warning us no more. And as you get closer to these prophecies, this truth is going to be pulled back. So the prophecies is going to increase, but the truth will be decreased here on the earth. And that would be signifying that the Lord's elect has been sealed. And it says they shall wander from sea to sea, even from north to east. That don't mean they're going to be running from north coast to the west to the east coast. They got a term called surfing the net. So they shall wander from sea to sea. We're going to be surfing the net. From website to different website looking for this truth. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, but shall not find it. And they got a term called search engine. So when it says they shall run to and fro, they're going to be running the heck out of these search engines. Google, Yahoo, YouTube, Daily Motion. They're going to be running to and fro, running these search engines all over the place to seek the word, but shall not find it. Now that's all I got for today. It's getting cold, so I'm going to close out here. We're going to face the east. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashu, Kakadash. Until next time, Shalom.